Welcome, it's New Meta Podcast back again, episode 104. Joining me as always, Marco and Adam. Today we're going to be talking about the patch 7.27D, hopefully get onto a bit of Clockwerk and Dirge, aka Undying. Some interesting heroes with their stocks rising in the meta at the moment. Marco, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you. Doing good. Pretty solid.
Sipping on a malt?
Not a malt today. It's just a Yorkshire tea. The malt supply's getting low, but yeah, enjoying that.
Nice, very good. Adam, likewise, welcome to the pod. How you holding up?
Good. Just sipping on a Diet Coke.
Oh, I was going to say something like Mountain Dew for Adam.
Yeah,
Please, it's not a special occasion. It's just a normal day.
Yeah, that's every day. That's bread and butter stuff.
Yeah, Diet Coke, 0 calories.
Yeah, it must be good for you, right? 0 cal?
Yeah.
Diet
Well,
Coke? Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying if you have a Mountain Dew every day, that adds up calorically.
Diet Coke is scary, the fact that it's 0 cal, 0 everything. Because there's some weird stuff going on there. How can it be just 0 of everything? Is it just chemicals? It's just calorie-less chemicals.
Yeah, everything's chemicals.
All right, gee. Chemist over here.
Everything is made up of chemicals.
Yeah, that's true. Emotions are just chemicals. Remember that next time you tilt. That's a good one. Speaking of tilt, Marco, how have your games been?
Are you trying to suggest I'm a tilter?
I'm not suggesting anything. Let the listeners and the guild decide on that one.
Yeah. Has there been much tilt? There's been a couple...
Wait, does tilter mean he tilts or he tilts his teammates? Is like a tilter one who tilts or one who makes people tilt?
Tilter versus tiltee.
I would be the tiltee with Marco on my team. He did that to me this week.
Adam got tilted because I tipped the enemy team.
No, and then you did your Marco buyback.
Oh, that game was over. That was a really bad game.
Yeah.
That was a completely lost game.
Over in the fact that I had to wait 20 minutes for it to end, but I knew it was over.
It ended at 25 minutes, so we didn't wait 20 minutes.
Waited 10 then.
Yeah. That was a rough game. Aside from that one, that was on the back of an evening of amazing guild gaming. But that was the day, basically, that proves 5 stacks is the only way to do it. I played a 3 stack that day. It was a big session. Lost, obviously, 3 stack. Just can't control the team. 4 games of 5-man guild. Smash. Don't know if you know that. What's that guy's name? That YouTube video begins with a K, maybe. Someone will know this reference where it's some like homeless guy. He's got no name. He's got a name, but doesn't know his birthday. He's like traveling around, and then there's an interview. It's a really famous YouTube video. Really famous. Take my word.
My God, the depth of
anyway,
I don't even know how to react.
Smash. That's the reference.
Wow,
someone will know it.
Marco's recommended. It's dark. Recommended vids. Don't go on Marco's YouTube.
That is YouTube OG classic gold. Someone will know it. Anyway, 4 wins on the bounce with a 5-stack guild game and just phenomenal scenes. And then 2 3-stacks. Adam's in one of them. We haven't abandoned in the first one, and then we get slayed the next one. So just proof that 5-stack's the way to go.
Yeah, I was in on those games, I think.
Yeah, you were. They were really good. And then we had the one yesterday, which was a 69-minute crazy win with the enemy had a TB Tinker. That one was a seriously intense game, like double rapier and anti-mage.
Yeah. I trotted out the Viper in that one. That's a long-forgotten hero. An old classic. Atos Greaves Viper and an Atos Greaves Necro back-to-back in those 5 stacks. Good old times. That's the real MVP. You think it's 5 stacks, actually, Atos Greaves?
Yeah.
Adam, how were your games? You were the tiltee.
Yeah, that game was bad. But besides that, playing real games, and those are fun.
Nice.
Been playing a lot of Razor. It just seems like every time I'm going to play safe lane, the enemy wants to pick 2 offlaners. Or like 2 melee heroes. And they're like, well, I guess I'll just play Razor again. It's like a Pudge Slardar offlane, or like a Mirana Slardar offlane. It's just I see Slardar, I pick Razor. I have a good time.
Yeah.
Except with that game yesterday when I played Razor against Mirana Slardar, they actually debated me and they went 4 Slardar, 3 Mirana. So it was actually harder than the opposite. 3 Slardar, 4 Mirana would be a joke easy, but the opposite they actually can harass.
Yeah.
And then I played a lot of Ags Lab. How many times have you beaten it now, Marco?
I think I'm on 5.
Okay. Pulled ahead. I'm on 4 now. But I got an old friend, his Bok. He had been wanting it for a long time. And we finally got him across the finish line.
Nice. I still need to be carried to I admit nothing but your sadness. I still need that.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, man.
Easy way to farm up levels and shards.
Yeah, I'd be in for that. Nice little level 2 Ags run.
Yeah,
you've done 2. You're on to 3, right?
No, I haven't even done 2. I've done level 1 only.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Definitely need to do that.
We could fly into it after the pod, maybe. See how much time we have.
Yesterday, my lineup was Weaver, Omni, Viper, Wyvern. You can basically pick anything. Like I've won with Magnus, Ursa on your team, or a Mars. Like pretty much anything's a go now. But Viper seems to be quite strong.
One hero that I've never seen success with, and every time I've played with this hero, it's felt garbage, is Witch Doctor. Don't know what you think of Witch Doctor.
He's fine. My friend Saul is trying to beat it with every person, every character. I think he's done it with Witch Doctor.
Ugh.
I think all he has left is like Sniper and a couple
Someone
of
else.
the iffy ones. Like he's done Magnus, he's done Ursa, Omni, like Snapfire. He finished that one. Disruptor. I think it's probably just like Sniper and one other random one.
In terms of my games, the extent to which I'm playing ranked sort of diminished, because with guild gaming these days, if you're online in the evenings, you can't really... Like, am I seriously going to turn down a 5-stack to play solo ranked? Like, I don't think so. So I've just been playing a lot of normal again.
I mean, if you want to add legitimacy to the pod and be divine...
That is true, yeah.
But for fun's sake and for, like, guild progress sake, I understand.
You are right. Maybe I need to suck it up and just appear offline and just headphones on.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
On.
I forgot to say I did do a solo ranked. I did one solo rank to get my badge number back.
Oh, yeah.
And I immediately regretted it. It was awful. It just was not fun whatsoever. And then it was like, well, I have the number at least.
Nice.
Time to do that never again until the season resets.
It's going to be so weird when everyone has to play calibrations after not playing ranked Dota for the whole of Battle Pass with the guild stuff. I mean, I'm in for some solo ranked. I did actually play ranked today, one game of ranked, but it was a duo queue with Loot Monkey, friend of the pod, and it was like, oh my word, such a frustrating game. It was the easiest game ever, and we lost. It was honestly so easy though. It was one of those most super, super annoying games where it's made clear to you that you would have won the game if you just hadn't made one mistake, because we're pushing enemy high ground basically, and then we look back at our base and there's like a Luna that's basically taken mega creeps while we're like pushing, and everyone's like, what? Like, how's this happened? We only lost one lane. Suddenly, like, the Luna BKBs and like all-ins for megas, and we like can't stop it, and we're like, oh my god, that's like ruined our game. And then even with mega creeps, we won like the next 5 team fights. And it's just like, if we didn't get mega'd, it was the easiest game ever, but we just got like ratted basically. So that was super annoying. We had Winter Wyvern Lena. It's a nice combo. Loot Monkey was on Wyvern. I was on Lena. So good to set up with Curse into the LSA stuff. It's really, really strong. And we had a Void as well that died more times than anyone else on the team, which is a shame when you're playing position 1, but I'm used to it. It's ranked. What are you going to do? Beyond that, not a ton else to talk about. I did play in solo rank, a few other ranked games earlier in the week, much earlier. I got a couple of wins on Lena before this loss. Good stuff. Oh yeah, I played a Doom. I don't know if this was in the last pod. I played a Doom in a ranked duo. We got RD. I was queuing with Dynamic and we got RD, random draft. And I've only ever got all pick for ranked. So I go to ban Doom because I don't want to play against Doom. He's the best hero in the pool. And then I subsequently realise immediately upon banning Doom that you don't get bans in random draft. So I've just picked Doom straight away, just like instantly picked Doom. And I'm mid because we queued with rolls. So I'm like, does anyone want to swap? And I'll play, like, pick me a Lena, like, pick me a whatever, like, Necro or something. No one responds. I'm like, okay, Doom mid it is. Easy dub, obviously, because,
Yeah, Doom mid's good.
It's good. It wasn't good in this game, but we had a Juggernaut that was 21-0 and had 980 GPM, so it was fine. Basically just got carried, but I pressed my spells. I got a Blink, got a BKB and a Shiva. I was doing Doom things. That was a fun game. Yeah, nothing else to report beyond that. I'm currently Ancient for 40%, I think.
Getting back.
Yeah, I got a star since last episode. I will get another one if I keep playing. Especially when I play mid, I feel really good. I mean, I was like Divine 1, I was Divine 2 mid, so hopefully if I just get games in, I should be able to get back. So yeah, watch this space, I suppose.
The last games for I'd make, I got a new record from the Anti-Mage game yesterday, a record of net worth, because I had...
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if Trident... No, yeah, Trident must go towards net worth, but then I have the Ag Scepter buff, which... Does that go towards net worth? Moonshard as well, but also double 2 rapiers at the end of the game. So I got a new net worth record of 71.7 thousand.
Wow.
Wait, am I reading the right number? Wait, no, I didn't. 58.5 thousand.
Okay.
Big number though.
Very big number. Well done for farming creeps. And then you got attacked. You got attacked for playing anti-mage, even though we were against Terrorblade Tinker, and they were having a go at you for picking AM, which is quite funny.
People get well salty when they lose against AMs these days. It always happens with like poor anti-mage picker, and it's like, you can just end the game at 20 with TB. Yeah,
it's the best. It's one of the best core matchups against AM. Like they actually have a good hero against it. There you go. Question. Submit your questions because we have run out of questions. I will include the form, the same one that we used for episode 100. I'll put it in the description for this episode. So fire away, and in future episodes we will come to your question. If it's meta specific, we'll, I guess, try and do it while it's still relevant. I say that only so you don't ask some very specific question that has to be, would be redundant after a couple of weeks. Anyway, PSA, get your questions in. Also, feel free to ask them on the Discord. Message me or any of us, or just pop it in the Dota questions or something and at podcasters or something like that. We'll be sure to answer it. That said, today's question, Marco, what are we answering today?
So the question I've got, big shout out to Taco, is...
Yikes.
Is what is the hardest role / position and why? So it's there's a bit, it's a little bit ambiguous. I'm not saying exactly what aspect or factor is hardest, but it's up to you to kind of interpret. Hardest role and why, Adam?
5, because it's the one I play. And I want to have all the credit when I win, and none of the blame when we lose. It's like, well, it's the hardest role. So, I mean, what really could I done in that situation? No, I think 4 is the hardest.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion we might all agree that 4 is the hardest. I don't know what you think, Marco.
I think 4 is the hardest because you have to make the most of what you're given. Like, if you leave the lane to gank mid and don't make anything happen, you've lost this off lane for your off laner. And if you, like, get a kill mid and you just never come back to the off lane, you still lost the off lane for your off laner. And if you don't, like, coordinate with your support to get other kills, you're just kind of wasting what you can make your opportunity.
I don't know. We played with a POS 4 Pudge, which I know you're a massive fan of.
My God.
And he managed to lose every lane for our team. So he abandoned off lane, that therefore lost. We needed me, I think I was Slark and our other support. I needed him to come top to get a gank off because I was getting relentless pressure, but with 3v2 I can get the kills and snowball the lanes. I needed him to come top to win the lane, didn't do it. I kind of lost the lane. And then he went mid, and I think it was like a Viper Zeus matchup, something horrible for us, and didn't do anything. I don't know if he died, maybe didn't, but at best he didn't do anything mid. So he really achieved an immense amount of negative stuff. So that's just an anecdote flaming POS 4 Pudge.
Darkseer Pudge isn't a good lane, but it could be salvageable if he, like, actually existed in the lane, because it was an IO troll. Like, just hook the IO. We kill the IO.
It's hard.
Or just let me surge you with Ion Shell and we can kill some people. But no, he just left. And then it was my fault that the troll had free farm when he could just regen through my Ion Shells with IO.
So 4's the hardest role. Because this
agree.
Pudge didn't do anything.
Well, no, that's a one prime example, but I do agree with both of you that 4's the hardest. I think it's, like Adam says a good point of you can lose lanes so easily if you make the wrong decisions in the early game. If you leave your lane too early, or if you don't leave your lane, you can seriously screw up. So I think it's hard to make those judgment calls. And then even in the post laning phase, I think you've got quite a bit of responsibility to bit of tempo, bit of dictation, like around the map, which isn't always obvious what you need to do. And like Adam says, you're not working with a lot. You're not a creep farmer with golden XP, but you are kind of got weight on your shoulders to make things happen. So I think it is hardest.
I think the thing about POS 4 is that it's so hero specific what your role is, like what you can do. If you're playing a tiny 4, that's going to be massive. You're going to play the game completely different if you're playing Earthshaker 4. If you're playing whatever Wind Ranger 4, you're going to be playing it very different if you're playing Clock 4. If you're playing Ogre 4, you're going to be playing it very different if you're playing, whatever, insert other position 4 hero here. Like, it's very hero specific. So I feel like, and you have to use your spells really well in the early game and the mid game to make the most out of your hero. If you're playing a Tusk or a Tiny or something, you need to use your spells really well to get kills. Whereas if you're playing an Earthshaker, like, you can't do the same thing with the kit that hero has. Yeah. So you have to play it like completely differently. So I feel like you need to know the heroes very well and like know exactly what your role is and stuff. Whereas other roles like position 1, off lane, mids, I think maybe a little bit different, but certainly the side lane cores and the POS 5, no matter what the hero is, you're largely going to do pretty much the same kind of thing, the same kind of movements and patterns. Whereas I think 4, everything down to where you click on the map is sort of hero dependent and game dependent.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I fully agree with that.
Yeah. Shout out for mid. I think mid's quite hard. I think at the highest level, mid is hard. In pro games and stuff, I think maybe mid becomes the hardest role. The reason I say that is because I think when you get to the top, people are so specialized at the mid lane that when random pro, like if you've got a random pro that's not a mid player, they're going to get crushed more than a random pro randomly playing a POS 4. I mean, I've made that up. I've got no evidence for that, but that's like my inclination. I just
shout out to Shiki TI5.
Oh, the C deck. Is it C deck?
Yeah.
Who got
Just
slayed?
getting slayed by Sumail over and over and over again.
Yeah. I would shout out mid for that as well. Mechanically, so specialized, like you say. So it can be pretty brutal if you get outclassed a bit.
And a lot of the like phenoms come out of mid. I don't know what that means in terms of difficulty, but a lot of the like young stars, they'll pop up playing mid.
Yeah, I think execution of mid is, because of that mechanical aspect, is the hardest. Like if you're playing one, it's you're hitting creeps and then you're engaging at the right time and moving to the right place. Big macro aspects, but execution's pretty basic. Same with offlaners. You can hit creeps, don't feed, put your hero in the right place, easy to execute spells. Mid though is like really more intense, how and where you execute spells and movements and knife edge plays, etc. So yeah, give a little shout out to mid, not too much though. Don't want to inflate mid players' ego anymore.
Topic of the day, first order of business is this patch, 7.27D. Came out very recently. Item changes. Adam, I don't know if you want to discuss these item changes. We've got 4 here. I don't know if you have the patch up.
I never remember drums got nerfed. I got it pulled up now. Yeah, drums goes from all stats +6 to all stats +4. And since I've been playing a lot of Razor, I've been buying a lot of drums. So that doesn't feel very good because it has the crown, right? Crown's +4, so you don't get any bonus stats now for the recipe. Bummer.
Yeah, drums was strong, I think, in general. This is probably a good nerf. Take away a circlet, a worth of stuff.
I love pressing that drums active at like 9 minutes into the game. It feels so good.
Drums active is just satisfying. The noise of just hitting a drum is just good. I like it. Soul Rings, a tasty buff from 350 to 275. That's such a important change for an item that you want to get like really, really early. I know people,
especially since it doesn't give the arm or the doesn't give the regen. I don't think its cost was justified.
No.
Yeah, I think so. And people some rumblings about, Soul Ring heroes coming back in a bit. Maybe we'll get to that later with Mars, in particular with the bust that he's got, but Soul Ring's nice and cheaper. And then Marco Heaven's Halberd, often overlooked items, a fair bit more expensive, 400. Is this still an underrated item overall?
I don't know if it was underrated. It was like the best item in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about my pubs, maybe. But...
Okay. Yeah, in pubs, it obviously is never going to get picked up on a POS 1 because that's so wacky, but I was seeing this all the time in just pro highlights.
Miracle Anti-Mage got an Halberd.
Yeah, I mean, when you're against, say, a TB with 6 illusions, that evasion is really going to be valuable. And if you show up with it and it disarms them, it makes sense why you won't mind having it if you're going for some man up 1v1. So yeah, Procene definitely bought this a lot, and so that 400 is significant. It's nearly a minute GPM. If you say it's a minute, that timing, it matters big time. Pubs, yeah, I've not seen it in pubs. I guess I'm playing POS 1 all the time, and I've not bought it, so I've not seen it in pubs.
And Adam, you're going to have to help me understand this Helm Dom change, because it seems like something you're going to be in for. Health reduced minimum health reduced from 1.5k to 1k. What does this mean? Does it mean if you dominate a small camp creep, it will only be a k?
Yeah.
HP?
Basically.
Okay.
And then it gets +4 armor. I think this item's dead. Dead.
Did they need to kill this item off?
I don't know. Is Clinks that popular? Isn't that why people were building it?
Yeah, I think so. You don't see it on any heroes, do you? You actually just don't see it on a hero.
My Darkseer games, I bought it the last 2 times and it felt awful. And now it's even worse, so I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you just don't see it on anyone. Even like Lycan doesn't build this item anymore. You know, he just goes to Necro 3 and just moves on. You don't even see a Helm Dom. It's a funny item. It's a funny one. Sometimes you see it on loads of carries, and then sometimes you just don't see it at all.
I mean, it was amazing when it first launched in 7.2.7, but now it's bad.
It's so expensive.
They've nerfed the creep damage, and now it's like even less health, and they do the same thing to enchant. It's like less health, but now it gives armor, and it's like, do you really care? Like 500 HP reduction is not made up for by 4 armor.
No.
So, I mean, you're really going to tank like tower a little bit, but you're going to get nuked in like 2 dragon slaves or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nasty change.
What to give up? How much does a Helm Dom creep give up? 200? Like, yikes. Negative EV item over the course of a match.
Looking towards the heroes then, I feel like we don't need to run through all of them. Some of them are quite minor changes. For example, just the first couple, very minor, like the Arc Warden change, Brainsat mana cost's been nerfed. Any heroes that we want to take a peek at? Bristleback's base damage has been increased quite a lot.
You can't say increased.
Oh, sorry. Changed. Yeah, sorry, I'm behind on the meme.
I don't know why it says changed when it's just each number is bigger.
Yeah, so, I know, yeah.
I don't know why it's... Not only did you tighten the range, you also increased the low end by 5. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bristle, better damage.
Yep. We're talking about... Sorry, was someone about to say something?
Just quick, the Bloodseeker one, it looks minor, but this is the second tight little nerf for the Bloodseeker Blood Rage. So...
30% spell amp. That's pretty big.
I know, that's huge, yeah.
And then less health lost when you cast Blood Rage as well. That used to be 3% at level 4. Now it's 2.5% at level 4. So, I mean, just nerfs for this new Bloodseeker Blood Rage. Ice Reg wanted to try and make this hero appear somewhere. Who knows if it will ever show up.
Bloodseeker Zeus, let's go. 30% spell amp. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about Clockwerk in a bit. Movement speed's been reduced here from 315 to 310. Rocket Flare Vision from 8 to 6. A couple of... I mean, move speed on Clockwerk's painful, even if it's just 5. And Vision is obviously maybe the most important thing in Dota.
That used to be 10 as well, the Vision.
Wow.
Which, when you think 10 seconds of Vision from Rocket Flare to
on a
6, yeah, on a rush, on a high ground, on a ramp, it's a big difference. 10
Especially
to 6.
with True Sight talent at 20, it's like pretty meh. It only lasts for 6 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Darkseer, Surge acts like haste rather than granting bonus speed, so this means you can't go mega, like it's capped at haste, is that right? Surge is capped at haste?
That's what it reads like.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
But it's better at lower levels then?
Yes.
Because you're not going to... Originally you weren't, going at haste speed. You're like below 550, right? Even at level 1?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. It used to be like that, definitely, but they changed it a little while back so that the movement speed was the same at all levels. It was the duration that scaled up.
Oh, right.
So now I think it's the same. That has part of it hasn't changed. It just means that you can't haste a Sakuchi Weaver that will then go like into light speed. I think it's something like that. Some Doom nerfs, vague ones. Looking through some of the other changes, any stand out to anyone?
I think that level 1 Devour is a lot worse because you only get 1 HP instead of 2. But after that, it's negligible. So mid Doom, probably not affected because you get level 3 really fast. Offlane Doom, I guess, if you get zoned out, it could be tough.
The enchant change is the same as the Helm of Dominator change, where now the max health is down, but you give armor when you enchant a unit, but it seems way worse because it goes 1,200 max health. So does that mean enchant gives 1,200 health to the unit, but now it gives 500 and then 8 armor.
Yeah, it's like,
What?
what's the best thing you can get? Centaur, I guess. Is that the best creep?
Yeah, I think so. The red
And 8
potatoes
armor.
one is.
Yeah. And then I guess you can get the Ancients one, but like nobody gets the enchant effects Ancients. That could be kind of cool because you could have a Giga stone giant with 8 armor. But I don't know. It sucks for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is why you pick the hero. You don't pick the hero for the tankiness of the enchant creep. You pick the hero for the abilities the enchant creep gives you, and then now you just do giga damage.
Yeah, I think then they're nerfing
right
the
clicks.
max health with for the clink stuff, right? Like, that's why this has been changed for the clinks abuse. With
one hero just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Mars in from 20 plus 1.5 to 21 plus 1.6 and also 0.5 base mana regen. I saw a post claiming that Mars's biggest weakness, his int pool, is his int pool and his int regeneration with the change to Soul Ring now is like much more playable, and some sort of calculation with the number of spells you can cast in the laning stage is like a fair bit higher if you go Soul Ring and you get it quicker and all this.
Recent Mars changes focused on the mana cost as well, like his W. Is that Bulwark?
God's Rebuke.
God's Rebuke. That
God's
had
Rebuke,
its
yeah.
mana cost, say, at level 1. That's much less than it used to be, like, quite a while ago. So, yeah, definitely allowing this hero to use more spells. It's funny because when it first comes out, it's just this physical monster hitter damage dealer. Now it is more... It's just slowly physical damage decrease, and now it's more this kind of spell-using spellcaster hero. I mean, obviously it's still a tanky boy, but it's able to use more spells now with all these changes. 0.5 base mana regen, so that means over a minute you get 30 mana, 2 minutes 60 mana, right? Would you agree, Adam?
What was that math?
So base mana regen is now 0.5, so that's your mana per second, so 2 minutes you're getting 60 mana.
Yes.
So that's like a spell, you W.
Yeah, it's big.
That's real big. Just means you can fly out spells way more in the laning, which is really useful.
I already thought the hero was fine. Like, I played it this week; it felt awesome, and that was before this. And I would agree that the only thing that was limiting him was mana pool. That you were like using W to farm was kind of a meh proposition, especially if you put a lot of points in it early. Sometimes you wouldn't have enough to do everything, like to farm and then when a fight pops off to be able to pull your full combo. But this should make it pretty good. You might not even have to do Soul Ring. Some people try and go like other items. Like I went Vlad's. That seems Vlad's plus this base mana regen chain seems pretty good. Or I know people that go Yules or drums.
Yeah, yours is really cool for the spear setup. Also, even something just like a wand can fulfill all your mana needs, or a lot of them, just because, say, 10 charges, you get all your mana back kind of thing. But yeah, yours is interesting.
Yeah. Word on Medusa, it's only a minor change. Base damage increased by 2, but Stone Gaze mana cost reduced from 200 to 100. Bit of quick maths tells me that increases Medusa's effective HP by 175 health as well, because for each point of mana at level 4 mana shield, that's 2.5 damage that's being reduced by 70%. So as 100 mana times 2.5, 250, and 70% of that is 175. So there you go. That's some new meta info for you. Wow. You're now 175 HP tankier because of this change.
That deserves a round of applause. Blimey. That's some good maths.
Yeah. Thank you. And obviously base damage increased by 2. So this hero is sneaking back. For what it's worth, I did play an OD earlier today, and I know the changes to level 1 orb is minor, but this is a skill point that you leave on level 1 for like a long time, because you max the W, you get a point of Q, and you max the E pretty much. You can sometimes go for the second point in Q with like 2 in the Essence Flux, but you usually just leave it on 1 and can then get at least 3 points in the E. So given it's a 1.1 spell, this change from 6% to 7.5% damage on the Arcane Orb is quite significant and noticeable. I felt like I was doing a little bit more damage than when I played OD before on the early levels, but just on all levels, because you don't go back for the levels of the Q for quite a while. So I think that's quite a nice change. And we all know about OD, you only have to change the damage on the Q a little bit, and suddenly the hero is the most broken hero there is. Do you guys have any other changes?
Apparently, oh yeah, go ahead.
Bit of a spec one, level 1 dagger damage, level 2 dagger damage, and down a little bit. Maybe makes it a bit harder to secure last hits or to get kills from just in the early game. Desolate damage in the earlier levels, down a little bit. Value level 1 of Desolate is quite a lot worse. It's fair enough, kind of slow the hero's strength in the early game. And then also Haunt cooldown at 12 and 18. So 18 is 20 seconds longer now, which is quite sizable in the late game. You think about those situations where you're telling your team, all right, Haunt's got 10 seconds and then it's up and we can fight. It's now going to be Haunt's 30 seconds. And that's a long time if you're trying to, say, hold a high ground or go into a Rosh pit or something. Like, we had that game where I was specking, I think Adam was Mars, and we won it when we had that 5-man wipe at the pit. So the enemy team is stupidly 5-man in the pit. None of us are dead, all our big ults are up, and we walk over every spell. That fight, I'm sure, I feel like my Haunt had only just come up. So basically my point is, if it was 20 seconds longer, it wouldn't be up.
It's a huge 20 seconds. Haunt's a huge
big,
spell.
big.
Major spell. As we know, so that is a big nerf.
And then the Tiny, movement speed down by 10, very significant for a POS 4 roamer like Tiny. Maybe the mid, not as much, but POS 4, 10 movement speed makes a difference.
Definitely.
300's pretty, well, it is meant to be average. 310 was quite good. So, I mean, Tiny, this nerf is unsurprising. He's the most picked hero in the Omega League. Just such a popular choice in the pro scene. So, unsurprising.
How grim would it have been if this was the, well, not necessarily grim, but if this was the TI patch, and then there's just another TI of Tiny in every game, like POS 4 Tiny, just like winning games for fun? That would not
Tiny TI has taken the place of Batrider TI.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Tiny's been strong at TI, so the last, 3 at least. Boundless Strike, the stun duration's up from 0.4 to 0.7, almost double. And I think for a hero like Monkey King, it's quite significant, because if it allows you to get one more right-click in, for a hero that's so knife-edge in the mid lane, that's genuinely going to make the difference between being able to kill people or not. This is the kind of change that changes calculations in terms of, can I kill this person or not? If you have 0.3 more seconds to walk towards them, you're going to get a right-click in that you otherwise wouldn't have. So I think, in terms of getting kills at level 2, level 3, definitely much more likely now on the Monkey King. It's such a knife-edge hero, changes like this can low-key have big impact. Yeah. And then some other minor changes as well. Ursa buffed a bit, Underlord nerfed a bit, Firestorm cast ranges down, Pit of Malice disables up, but the cooldown's down. Both the cooldown is up and the disable's up, so a nerf and a buff there. Hero to discuss today, Clockwerk. Marco, you've jotted down some notes. Why are we discussing Clock today?
So I think we're discussing Clock today because it's a popular pick, definitely in the pro scene. We see it a lot in the Omega League, which is the premier tournament happening right now in replace of TI. Third highest pick rate on Clock, 56% win rate that's really quite strong. So it's getting, I think, most often first phase picked. It's not one of these S tier bans, but then you pick it up in the first phase and you can run it as a POS 3, 4, or 5. So this versatility aspect is highly valued in the highest level of games. And so, yeah, it seems to be in a strong place, seems to do pretty good stuff. I don't know if you've been seeing it much in pubs. It'd be interesting to hear if you have. It's a pretty relevant hero right now.
Definitely. I don't know about you, Adam. I've been seeing it a lot in pubs in my games.
It's annoying. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's fun to play, but as a support, it's so sad when you see it picked on the other team. The example I always give is Crystal Maiden. It's like if you're Crystal Maiden against Clock, you're like, I'm probably going to die twice in the lane because he's just going to waddle up at max move speed, it feels like, compared to my 280, and then he's going to cogs me, and I'm going to take a full battery assault to the face. And in the later game, it's like I will never in this game channel my ult because I'll either get inadvertently battery assaulted and it'll just stun me out of it, or I'll just be a beautiful target for a hook shot from 3,000 range.
Yeah. In terms of the playing Clock POS 5, though, why is this suddenly a thing? Because it's not traditionally a POS 5 hero, positionally it's a POS 3. But I feel like these days you see him more often playing as a 5 or a 4. And the 3 is less popular.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think 3 should be the least popular.
Gone are the days of Universe Clockwerk or Bola Clockwerk, even further back.
For the 5, it's a bit of an ogre feel. This meat is not as much armor, sure, but naturally quite high HP. You've got the Q. If you get on top of someone, you are a nuisance. You are going to make space. You don't really need to do much more than that if you're laning as a 5.
You just run at them with Q. Is that the lane, basically?
Well, yeah, I think
you're
primarily making sure your carry gets farm. So you're putting your body in front of the carry in the enemy team, make space in that way. You're not going to just die all of a sudden. You're quite quick. You've got the Q if you need to bail, or the cogs if you need to bail. You've also got the offensive potential of the Q. So it kind of does what the 5 needs to do and typically shouldn't get slain. Maybe some offlaners could, but with a high HP pool, bit of armor, it should be okay.
Yeah,
yeah, go on.
Yeah, you're picking this hero not for the lane, though. Like, there are better choices if you want to just outright crush a lane. Yeah. You're picking the hero for clockwork things, right? You're wanting to
this is one of those, like, Phoenix, or when you pick a 5 that, like, doesn't do the best in lane, and then all of a sudden you get to later in the game and you're just a menace, and from a 5 position, and you don't want to blow everything on the 5, but it's like you get such high impact out of Clockwork skills. Same with like Veno with the wards. Like, it's really hard to quantify the amount of vision Veno wards give throughout the entire game and how good and valuable that is, and like how many times you didn't die because you saw where everybody was. Whereas Clockwork now, I mean, a bit less so because the flare duration is less, but it's like you basically are spamming that off cooldown. Never, as a 5, you're definitely not even using it to like push lanes, and you're just getting so much information. People just accidentally walk underneath a rocket flare and like, oh, we know where the carry is. I'm not scared to go on this guy up over here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and you can fly over camps as well. That's a useful trick with the rocket flare. If you direct it and you see what it passes over, so it can pass over, say, a couple neutral camps, and you see the carry, glimpse the carry. You get information like that as well. He fits. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're saying he fits?
I think he fits that 5. Don't you think of 5s like Dirge or Vengeful Spirit, say, or even a bit Ogre? But these meaty 5s were, you're not picking him for the lane, but then come the mid game and in fights and skirmishes, they offer a lot of value and just a lot of nuisance. Where it takes a lot of resources to get rid of them because they're also meaty and naturally they want to be in the mix as well. So it's like a 4.5 almost, the amount of work that you can do in fights with what's meant to be the pos 5. 1,000 plus HP, that takes a lot of time and effort to kill, and if you kind of have to deal with it if the hero's hook shotting into the midst of the fight. So yeah, definitely agree that provides a lot of value.
Yeah, you hook shot in, BKB piercing, then you cogs, and they spend their whole BKB duration trying to get out of the cogs, and you're a 5.
Yeah.
And if you go like first item force staff, you just cogs in and force yourself out, and you're like, see you later. See you later, nerds.
Yeah. But it's
then I'm kind of wanting to try that since that got just changed in this patch. Level 15 talent plus 2 hits on cogs. That seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, if your team isn't aware that you need help getting out of cogs, you could be there quite a while.
Yeah,
because it's that makes it 4 attacks, and I guess the other one is other talent choice at 15 is plus 24 battery assault damage. But four hits is a lot. It's a lot of hits.
Definitely, yeah. It's tough to beat down. Speaking of cogs, it's interesting to me that I wouldn't have expected, if you just quizzed me, the build that is exactly the same on almost every Clockwerk game of leaving 1 point in W and not coming back to it until you have nothing else to level. I wouldn't have thought that would be the case given that the damage goes from 50 to 125, but I guess you're not really trying to damage people with the cogs. And the duration going from 5 to 6 is somewhat underwhelming. So I guess that's why you leave it on just 1 point and you concentrate on getting Q and then the rocket flare first.
Yeah, because you don't need the cogs to last super long time. Like, doesn't the rocket flare go down and cool down too?
Yeah, that's the key. I think if that cooldown didn't go down, you just leave it.
Yeah, because you can... Basically, you're getting everything out of the cogs just by having people have to attack them. Or that they're, like, panic and stuck in it.
Yeah, because really they're going to be attacked down, aren't they, really?
Yeah, all you really want to do is, like, cogs in, hook in, get the stun from hitting the hook, and then you walk forward, and then you cogs and push the people back into your team, and then it's like an extra, another second and a half of stun from getting bounced back, and then you've kind of like poor man's fissured, blocked the team from getting through your cogs to the team.
Definitely, yeah. That's a genuine PSA. If you're dealing with slippery heroes like an Ember Spirit or a Storm or something with Yules or something like that, or a hero with 4-staff that can easily get out of the cogs, basically, with a quick spell or a quick force or something. You don't want to just hook in and then press cogs like Adam says. You want to hook in, move forward, and get that extra disable on them with the hook, the sort of stun into stun. Because obviously you don't stun a hero when you have them in the middle of your cogs, but you do if they hit one of the edge of your cogs. They're going to be stunned for an extra second. So yeah, there you go. It's worth hammering that point home.
Yeah, then like I know you can lay down a cogs for like Wraith King or Aegis respawn. I wonder if that works with like Puck. Probably.
What, if out of phase shift or something? Depends what she's...
Yeah.
Not out of phase shift.
Yeah.
Phase shift's a weird one.
If you're phase shifted, you could jaunt and not get hit. But if you kind of like come out of phase shift to then jaunt...
What about phase shift blink?
Yeah, you can blink out of phase shift without...
But it has to be the direction that you're facing before.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would pop out and turn, and you'd get...
Good point.
Yeah.
Yes. In terms of other early game stuff for Clockwerk, Marco, there's one set of items that I know you want me to build on Clockwerk, and it's sort of a classic. It's a classic Marco tripe.
Oh wow, I'm instantly stunted. What position is this hero? Is it 4-star?
No, it's not. There's a casual there's a casual basic item
I think I know it.
That you want everyone to build on this hero.
Windlace.
Yes, Windlace, yeah. Even if they have Tranquils, you want them to get another Windlace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Clock, given he's got hookshot, maybe slightly less necessity than other heroes, but still, he doesn't escape the trope that, have a Windlace for certain. So much value from that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Clock's, I was just thinking about Pudge, and if you think about Clock, it actually is just a Pudge on steroids. So Pudge, he's got rot, so he's running down a hero and rotting them, which slows them. Clock runs down a hero while stunning them and not dealing damage to himself. So there's that. There's then the Pudge, I want to hook someone to disable them, because I'll hook and eat them, versus Clock just has a infinitely more reliable hook onto the hero at further range, faster animation, so guarantees that actually lands, versus Pudge is having no hope. And then you're on top of them to use your battery cell and whatnot. Versus Pudge, he's also got the armor to kind of chase someone down, versus Pudge is, say, 0 armor. And then Pudge has got Flesh Heap versus, say, Rocket Flare for the vision. So if you're really thinking hard about what POS 4 to play, and you're thinking Pudge might fit the bill, I think Clock might fit the bill better in every way.
Yeah, but come on. You can't hook people from fog. Well, you can, actually. It just doesn't... Well, I suppose landing a nice hook shot is very satisfying.
It is quite fun, yeah. It is a fun spell.
Yeah. How do we feel about Ags? How do we feel about overclocking on Clockwerk?
As a 5, you're not going to have enough money to get it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, you can afford it on a 4 though. You get that on a 4.
I like it more than the old Ags, with just like a 12-second cooldown hook, and just keep doing it on that cooldown over and over. I like this new one where you get to do like double hooks.
Yeah, it's definitely
more
more
like a chain stun type of thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Is it better than a halberd? Cheap.
Are you more expensive. Against a troll? I don't know. Clockwork's already good against troll because you can just cogs him in, and he just blows his entire ultimate just in your cogs.
Axe feels very luxurious.
Yeah, it's being built a surprising amount on these guides on Dota Buff. I mean, I always read way too much into these guides because they are just a random selection of games, or not even random. They're sort of like high-end clock players probably that make good use out of the Ags, and i.e. not people in pubs. I would definitely second what Marco's skepticism in like a pub setting, because as we've established, the lower down in MMR you go, the less spells are cast and the less good spells are cast. So Ags basically gives you all your spells again and then stuns you. So maybe it's easier to just get a halberd.
It sounds quite hard to execute the Ags really well.
Yes.
I mean, you hook on someone, you're stunning them. Okay, they force stuff out, but you follow them, overclock to then hook them again, stun them again. I mean, like in a one-on-one scenario, it sounds pretty good. But in a big team fight, do you need to reset your spells that badly? Not sure. Not convinced straight away, but maybe Adam's seen its power more than I have.
It's cheaper than a refresher, and you get stats, which you don't get in a refresher. So
refresher.
So it's better than building refresher on Clock. I'd say that.
762 refreshers bought on Clock in some time frame, according to Dota Buff. 20 more than Moonshards.
Mana to do a refresher.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Good job you've got those 2 perseverances from the refresher, then get it back quick.
Yeah.
Other items, I feel like Blade Mail Clock used to be standard, and now it's like not really a thing. I don't know if you...
It's the most picked item, or the item which is finished with the most, according to Dota Buff, just across every game. It's always naturally going to be pretty popular in pubs because you think it's really good on Clock. Yeah. I think a lot of games it can be good value because you use it and you're forcing people not to hurt you, or if they do, they're going to get hurt. So I mean, sometimes it can be great. I don't think it's necessarily always going to be good, though. I think sometimes, say, your hoods or your halberds or your force staffs are going to be way better. Interesting point about force staff. In our game against Terrorblade, we desperately needed force staffs. There was a Terrorblade with about 6 illusions just twatting heroes. You really need a force staff to kind of bail someone out of that situation. Anyway,
I did the right thing and had a force.
You did the right thing. Force staff's notoriously underbuilt, in my opinion, but yeah. Vessel, another item.
Yeah, Vessel is what I was going to say. Vessel's a classic one. I really like it on Clock. He loves everything about it. The health, the mana regen, and the armor. Like, they're all really good. And the active, they're all excellent for him. So I don't think it gives you movement speed, does it?
Did they take that away?
I think they took it out, yeah.
Feels bad. I guess that was too strong.
But yeah, Vessel was a great item for him, no doubt.
Do you think he's a better 4 or a 5?
What do you think, Adam?
4.
What makes you say that? I'm interested. I don't really know.
Because you're more allowed to walk around. 5, I feel like you got to support your carry in lane. 4, you gotta love the boots first. Roll up in the mid lane and just cog somebody.
That's true. Yeah, boots first is strong.
Yeah, boots first on 4s is generally really good because it means you can't.
If you go 4, you can kill their 5 in the off lane over and over again. Whereas I don't know if you. I mean, if they have a weak off lane, yeah, you can wreak some havoc, but it just all depends on your carry.
Yeah, if you have brown boots, either you're killing the enemy pos 5 because they can't get away from you, or they are not killing you because they can't catch you. So boots is really strong as a position 4, as long as you don't take too much flak and damage because you only have a little regen.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I think that's Clockwerk in the patch, or at least explaining a little bit of his rise to fame. Incredible win rates across pubs as well as in the Omega League, as we said earlier. 54% win rate in Divine Plus, and it's consistent throughout lower level pubs as well. So I think the hero's just in a really strong place in general. Let's spend the last maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes talking about this little pet pog, you could call it, Dirge. Dirge is back, and it recently got played as a POS 3 in the Omega League, which made me quite excited because Dirge POS 3 to me sounds very fun. Ever since they changed the Golem a long time back to, slow heroes massively, and to deal more damage and to just be really tanky and be more of a menace in general. Like the Golem got loads of buffs like quite a while back, maybe a year ago or something. So core Dirge, Soul Ring, which is buff now, Phase Drums, and then like Vlad's or Crimson. This is the real deal. Mark, are you a believer? So have you convinced in the core Dirge?
It just seems like a worse pit lord. Kind of wants to do these meaty boy aura menace annoying stuff in fights like a pit lord would, but feels like it would be less effective.
Doesn't have Tombstone. Pit lord doesn't have Tombstone.
Yeah, but is Tombstone that good? All I know Tombstone is from the Ag slab, and that dies in 3 hits, so...
Pit Lord's a bit more abusable in lane as well, I think. Dirge might be stronger laner.
Maybe. They feel similar. Doesn't feel like Dirge has got any crazy... Like, it's one of those heroes where I feel like in, say, the pro scene or just in a coordinated team, it could look really strong in certain games, but I feel like you'd then try it yourself and it just doesn't click with anyone on the team, and you fail to understand how to get all the value out of you because none of your spells are locked down. None of them are stuns or disables, which is the golden rule for pubs. You've got to fight around a certain set. I mean, objective, i.e., the Tombstone, say. Like soul rip value, maybe Flesh Heap. What's it called? The ultimate that damage amp thing, Flesh Golem. It's kind of, if you ask me exactly what his ult did, I could not tell you numbers and all that because it feels like there's a lot of shit.
Well, how about we just go through it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Flesh Golem. Undying transforms into a horrifying Flesh Golem. gains a percentage increase of strength and imbues attacks with a slow and damage amp. All right, level 6, 40% slow on your right click.
Strong.
25% damage amp
Very
on your
strong.
right, or like you apply on your right click. The slow lasts 6 seconds. You get 40% more strength. It lasts for 40 seconds, and you get 30. It says movement bonus 30. Surely you don't get bonus move speed.
Sounds like
Maybe
it.
you do. Maybe you do.
It's like a better version of God Strength. It's like God Strength with Disable.
Yeah, so the slow goes 40, 45, 50. The damage amp goes 25, 30, 35. And the strength multiplier goes 40, 50, 60. So it's a lot.
POS 1, Dirge, let's go. Who needs Disable when you're POS 1? I'm
Yeah.
down for POS 1.
It
Dirge.
sounds like a
A
better
lot of
puzzle.
a lot of the time, like, you wouldn't get Flesh Golem at 6. All Undying. This is like what you get Undying for now.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even like the Tombstone is so bad at early levels that like I just love to decay Soul Rip. Like level 2, you can kill so many people without them realizing. You get like 3 decays on them. They're super low, but they're like, whatever, he just decayed me, he can't kill me. And then they walk up into a creep wave, like your creep wave and their creep wave meets 2 heroes, and you just soul rip them 100 to 0, and they're just like, what? Yeah. I don't know, you're just like this big sustainy guy. Soul rip while you're in your golem is a big game. Big spell, big heals.
Definitely, yeah. How do you feel about Undying in general, like in the meta as a POS 5? I know you play 5, obviously. Do you feel like Undying is good, or is it a case of yes for pros but no for pubs? Like, how would you feel picking Undying, do you think?
I like playing it from time to time. I think there's times when it's a lot better than it is. Or sometimes it's like really good, sometimes it's bad. I don't think it's just you first pick an Undying, because sometimes you can feel pretty useless because, like Marco was saying, no real lockdown. But then there's other times, like if I'm against a Slardar Pudge, you just have the time of your life. Or if you're against, like, I don't know, some Agi offlaner or like a int hero. If you're against like a Nature's Prophet, I'm sure you're just like, this is the best thing ever. Because the more creeps that are around, the higher damage your Soul Rip does.
A concern I'd have about the 3 is the farming potential. Say again, contrast to a Pit Lord who's got AoE farm and big damage on the right click. You're gonna struggle to get gold. It's going to be more 3.5 probably the way this hero is played, because if you try and farm or shove creeps or do camps too much in the mid game, you're just going to be there for a hell of a long time that you're just griefing your team. So you actually just don't have the kit to hit creeps that well. So you've kind of got to come online at the end of the early game, I imagine, very start of the mid game, and they're on. Put a lot of pressure just on, I guess, towers, make fights happen, make your hero realize its value before the game goes too late and you start falling behind.
Yeah, you just like farm heroes and objectives.
Yeah. I think the max Q Decay and max Soul Rip, ignore Tombstone, could be pretty fun, because Tombstone's such a long cooldown, 85 to 70 seconds, level 1 to 4. That's just so boring, honestly. It's like an ultimate, and you don't really want that. If you're
it's
an
nice,
offlaner.
Like waddling up to the tier 1 safe lane and just throwing down the Tombstone in the trees behind their tower, and like, I can see you TP in, you can't do anything. Like that's a lot of fun. But I don't know. It feels pretty iffy. Levels 1, like say you're level 4 and you have 2 points in Tombstone, and you lay it down and they're just like, all right, we killed the Tombstone. You're like, damn, I just gave them 150 gold and 80 seconds of cooldown for like nothing.
I would be scared though to pick this hero, because if you picking it at 5, it's hard. Like you say, if you pick it first phase and you don't see any enemy heroes, and they end up just picking mobile, Ember, Ricky, anyone that's got mobility, you're totally useless. And often, particularly with pubs, you're relying on your 5, 4, 3 to have a bit of control. So if you end up having too little control in your team, that's a massive feels bad. So you have to be careful of that.
Yeah. And just to illustrate the point about a 3.5, there's no doubt about it, the hero doesn't farm. So if you're playing it as just for reference, if you're playing it as a 3, Mind Control played it as a 3 in the game at Omega League, and it allowed the pods 4 that they were playing with GH. He was playing Phoenix, and he has a Tranquil's, Meteor Hammer, Yule's Refresher at 30 minutes. So that's definitely...
But see, that's a good combo, though. It's like you make them choose the egg or the stone, the tombstone. And it's like tombstone gets a lot better when you have area denial or like AoE control. So if you throw down like a kinetic field or cogs or black hole or just something that like makes people have to choose, usually that's when you come out ahead. It's the same thing of the egg. It's like you want to put it close enough to where they think they can kill it, and then when they turn to kill it, they're like, oh no, we really messed up, because then they have to turn back around, and you're just abusing like turn rate, and like your zombies are slowing them. That's when it really gets good, is when you're able to like coordinate with your team.
Yeah, and also in terms of, we talked about picking Undying. This Undying was picked first phase, no doubt a flex pick, but it was picked into the opponent's opening, which was Io Abaddon. So that's like a great time for Undying. Like Io is a classic Io counter. So you see 2 strength heroes, Io Abaddon, and then you're going to be okay picking Undying. I think you're going to be quite happy picking Undying in that situation. So it was definitely like a dream Undying game being set up there. So yeah, perhaps approach with some precaution, but I think Undying in general is coming back into the meta a fair bit. We're seeing him pop up. This is the first time he's popped up as a POS 3, but he's been popping up as a 5 and a 4 as well. Yeah. Any closing thoughts? Any shout-outs? When I mentioned to put in your questions to the Discord or to the link that I'll put in the description. Do you guys have anything else to say? Any hero that you want to play this week? And you can report back next week about how it went.
No, I was just going to say build auras on Undying. But,
I mean,
I don't know.
He's got a 53% win rate with Battle Fury. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's a pog. That one of the heroes with the lowest agi in the game besides Doom and Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, that Battle Fury is like punch.
I'm going to give you a quiz here. What hero has the highest win rate with Battle Fury? And I mean, there's a few. So let's see a minimum number of games. Let's say minimum 50 games. What hero has the highest win rate with Battle Fury?
Can you give us the primary attribute for a bit of help?
Strength. 63% win rate.
Brewmaster?
No, 216 games of Battle Fury on Derbuff.
Shaker?
No. It's a hero that does good right click, a pretty good right click, but also is a very, very tanky hero.
Legion.
Also the
Centaur.
hero with Centaur, highest.
I was going to say Centaur, is like no, it has probably something a little more believable. He does do good right click, but I don't second the I don't vouch for that build on Centaur. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well done at home if you got it. Congratulations. So I'm putting on my Quizmaster talking points.
The Tusk Battle Fury is pretty pog though. You walrus punch cleave. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you can get it to actually happen.
A funny Cleave interaction was when Tricks of the Trade first came out. Ricky and Cleave would apply on every.
Yes.
It's something to do with that PL. Was it your Tricks of the Trade hit everything in the AoE? Was that it? And so 10 illusions all applied Cleave.
Same with like you would clear creep waves. You would just like jump and like cleave everything.
Yeah. I mean, and you just one-shot a PL.
Yeah.
It's so weird, Ricky, that his ult used to be Tricks of the Trade, and now his ult is Invisibility. It's so weird. Invis used to be Invis at level 1.
Yeah, now it's back to the original Ricky, way back when, level 6 Invis.
Yeah, I feel like that's gone back and forth quite a bit.
Well, there you are. That's episode 104 of New Meta Podcast. Join us again next week when we... Oh my goodness, I just remembered something. Do you remember we actually... we made a big promise about what today's episode would be.
Yeah, the spell casting.
The spells.
Yeah, I thought...
I literally just remembered that now. Oh well. Oh well. Well, sorry listeners, we failed you again. Maybe next week if we can get it together and remember to cast some spells. Very indicative of my Dota that I can't even remember that we're going to talk about casting spells, let alone cast spells.